All right, well, there you have it. Seedling sale house is pretty well ready to go. Our system's pretty straightforward, which is really nice. It's easy to tear down and set up from year to year. Obviously this year was a little bit different with adding in the material underneath the tables and a little bit of dirt in here just to cover up some of the chicken mess, but overall it's a pretty simple system from year to year, which is great. So every year we end up with a little bit of plastics left over, whether it be recipes that just didn't work, the flour choices and whatnot just didn't go well together, or some customers also bring back some of their baskets, which is great, so that we can reuse them. So in years past, we've run 3 different sizes. We'll run a 12, a 10, and a 14, which is our premium basket. It comes in a fiber pot with a wax liner. So those usually be our 3 sizes. We're actually getting away from the 10-inch. It's honestly just too small. It dries out so fast and you almost have to water it twice as often as you do the other ones. We're gonna switch and just get rid of the 10s. We got a few left over from last year, so we'll burn those up, and then we're gonna be just doing the 12s, the 14s, and then we'll also be doing some patio planters, which are usually in a 14-inch as well. Well, Shailen's been busy out here in the nursery today already. While we were finishing up the sale greenhouse, she's been down here in the nursery, bringing out all the trays from the seedling room. Just filled the shelves right up, both sides. She's got a big seeding week this week, so what we'll end up doing is doing a big seeding day, refilling the seedling room, and then probably focusing on potting up succession 2, pansies and violas. And then she also ended up getting the fridge all organized, so all of our seeds in there now. And now that we have so many baby plants out here, one big problem that we have often in early spring is mice. A big box of death here. I think there's like 15 mouse traps in there. And
Good morning, everybody. Just thought that I would do a quick video today on some seed storage and some pest protocol. So in the nursery, one of the biggest problems we have is mice. They like to come in and they'll gnaw off all of the seedlings in a whole tray, multiple trays, overnight when we are not out here. I went on Amazon and I bulk ordered like 30 mouse traps. So we set mouse traps everywhere. They are obviously, we have little kids running around here during the nursery season, so we like to put these places where kids and cats aren't going to be hanging out. So I also went on Amazon and found this other really cool thing, a little flapper lid, so when the mouse climbs up on top, the lid flips and they fall into the bucket, and then it flips closed again so you can't see the inside. So that's kind of handy. I'm really looking forward to going through this whole bucket of stuff and figuring out how they get put together. That our mice have been up to is they have been breaking into I use Rubbermaid totes to store my seeds, but sometimes I forget to put the lids on them at night when I leave, and they break in and they've been eating all of my seeds and making just a gross mouse mess everywhere. So Eric so kindly put this fridge in here for me to store my seeds in. So today I'm going to organize flowers from vegetables, and I'm going to get them on different shelves in the fridge. So top shelf, we have all of our flowers. So there's A to I in there, J to Z in here, and because we have so many of them, petunias are all in here. And then we have our veggies on the next shelf. We've got beans, beets, carrots, broccoli, all the B's and C's. There's a whole bin for onions, a giant bag of peas. And then down on this shelf, oh, that's bad. There's peppers, kohlrabi, turnips, tomatoes, and radishes. And then in this tote is all of the squash, pumpkins, and melon seeds. And then down in the bottom one is all of the different greens, lettuces, kales, shards, all of those.
So just a couple tips while we're out here potting up today. When it comes to knowing when to pot up, usually for the most part, for most flowers, once they get 2 true leaves, it's a pretty good indication that they'd be at a good point to pot up into a larger pot. And then the other thing that we've struggled with in the past, and we're just trying to work on it a little bit better nowadays, is when the trays are in the seedling room, we put them in a flat bottom tray so that the water doesn't drip down onto the lights. And then once they come out here, we found that it's best to take them out of those right away, because what happens if you don't is the roots will grow down through the holes into that bottom tray instead of rooting up in the actual plug. So we've found that when you go to pull the plug out of the ground, like out of the cell, you don't have as many roots on the actual plug itself because they've all grown through the tray and into the bottom tray. So it's always best that if you can, not put a bottom tray on it a little bit later on once they start to get established, so that it forces the roots to actually grow into the dirt plug. Easier to pot up that way. You can see this one here is a little bit better. And then here's an example of the first true leaves here. So those ones are the true leaves, and then these are the ones that come first once it sprouts out of the seed. So once you got the two true leaves, 2 to 3 of them, that's usually a good indication that you can start looking to pot them up. So they're not very big, but they're established enough to pot them on. All right, guys, well, that's gonna have it for today. We managed to get quite a bit done on these pansies and violas. I think we got about halfway, which is good. One thing I wanted to touch on with the sun going down here, something that we haven't touched on before, is that if we're potting up during the day, we'll always water the plant in after we've potted it up. But if it's later in the day like it is today, the sun's going down, we won't water it in because we know that the greenhouse is gonna cool down quite a bit this evening. And what happens when you water it in a lot of the time is that plant will stick down to the dirt, and then it'll stay stuck down all night when it's quite a bit cooler in here. So to avoid any extra shock, we just don't water, and we'll hit it in the morning to alleviate any problems. I hope that helps. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.